Hello and welcome to the series where I spend my money so you don't have to. Today we're trying the Glow and Care lip colour by Gucci. I have it here. It is in the colour 515 Devotion. I wasn't sure which to pick, but this seemed quite versatile and they seem to have quite a sheer formula, so I thought, you know what, I can't go wrong. I picked this up online, so I had no idea what I would get when it arrived. I didn't see it in store either because there aren't any Gucci stores close to where I live. I live quite far into the country. I don't live in London. There aren't any Gucci boutiques, so all of my orders have to be online. The packaging is card and it's a little bit textured. It's also a matte finish. The name is on the front and then on the back you've got ingredients and then on the side you've got instructions and the barcode. So it's quite pretty. It's a little bit busy on all sides. However, they probably had to squeeze a lot of information on a very tiny tube or tube packaging. So, you know, I don't blame them. It's quite easy. It's not sealed. You just pop it open like such. And then you open these little flaps and out comes the lipstick. And what really attracted me to this was the pattern. It's got this very beautiful, almost like brooch-like pattern. So on top you've got the Gucci logo. You can see it glistening slightly in the sunlight. That's very nice. It's subtle, but it's there. And this lovely pattern goes all the way around. It's very interesting and I haven't seen this before. I don't know if it's something that they've used in maybe their fashion line or maybe it's just original to the lipstick, but it's very sort of vintage looking. The base of the lipstick is gold and it's got this texture on it. Just to compare in terms of size, this is a Charlotte Tilbury lipstick. This is probably a very average size. And the Gucci is ever so slightly taller. I'd say about ½ centimetre. And also the diameter is a little bit smaller. So it's slightly taller and slightly smaller. In terms of how much you get, this lipstick has 1.8 grams, whereas a standard MAC has 3 grams, so you're getting a little bit over half, which isn't a great deal for the price and considering that you can get a MAC lipstick for a lot less and you get more. What I do like is that it's got some weight to it. The other lipsticks I have are mostly plastic, apart from the Charlotte Tilbury, which are metal. This is also metal and I really like that. It feels very nice to hold. It's really a nice experience. When you pull it out, it sort of just comes off quite easily. And then when you push it back in, it almost does a little click. It feels secure enough and it is quite satisfying to close. Did you hear that? That's very good. Having good packaging doesn't necessarily guarantee that the lipstick is going to be of high quality, so we're going to put that to the test. Now the colour is sort of a reddish sort of tone, however this is quite a sheer lipstick so I don't think it's going to come out of this vibrant red. Here it is a little closer. Just because of how thin it is, I'm kind of worried it might break off, so I think I'll have to wind it down a little bit just to apply it. This lipstick almost feels like you're slightly graduating from, you know, like standard lipsticks to something a little bit more special, and I think this is really a treat to have in your collection if you're considering buying this. I'm going to scoot you in a little bit closer so I can apply this on camera with you, and then we can also see about the texture. It's a little bit more intense than I thought, so I'm going to pair it with a lip liner just to help me guide this a little bit more and get more defined edges. I think that is plenty. I'm also going to swatch it on the back of my hand just so you can see it a little bit better because the lips give it a slightly different colour and it will obviously be a little bit different on everyone. So here is one swipe and then a slightly more intense swatch underneath because it is quite buildable. Even though it's sheer, it does have buildability to a certain extent. It feels good, it doesn't feel very heavy, it's not drying of course. It promises to hydrate for 24 hours. Now I'm not sure if it's going to stay on the lips for 24 hours, I severely doubt it. However, we're going to put it to the test over the next few hours to see how it goes. It does have a very glossy finish and that's very nice. It's not very sticky. I can kind of put my lips together and it doesn't get caught. It's also not like a matte lipstick or a satin where you really don't feel that tackiness. There is like a slight little bit of tack, but that's just from possibly the glossy agents. I like that the bullet was small. It meant that you could really get into the contours of the lips, which is good. Sometimes when a bullet is too big, you can kind of go over the lines a little. If you're struggling to apply a bright colour, always do a lip liner just to give you some sort of line to colour in with. Now the colour payoff was far more intense than I thought. I was honestly expecting something that would have just been like a light glaze or wash of colour, but this is very bright. This is a lot brighter than I thought I'd be wearing today, which is a good thing because you are spending quite a bit of money and you want the colour to show. So be mindful when you pick up one of these that your colour is going to come through. I do like the colour. I think it's very nice and I think it's very wearable during the daytime because I know some people reserve red for late nights and so on. However, this is sheer enough and glossy enough that it lends itself to the daytime, so it is quite pretty and I would say versatile. I'm going to go about my day now and I will update you a little bit later on how this looks. It's a little bit later on in the day and as you might be able to tell, the lipstick is completely gone. There's a little bit of lip liner left on the top lip, however it didn't actually stand a chance because I put it on top of the lipstick so it couldn't stick to the skin. It was sort of sitting on top of the lipstick slash lip balm, you could even say. And so when the lipstick rubbed off, the lip liner also went with it. So it looks a little bit like I have a moustache, but like a lipstick moustache instead of one of those like milk tashes. You know when you drink milk and you get that milk on your top lip, a milk tash? Well, this is like the lipstick equivalent. So I'm going to wipe it off with this tissue and we're going to see if there's any left over. Okay, there's like the tiniest little bit of residue, can't really tell. And top lip, definitely some more, but again, like nothing. I've even rubbed off a bit of foundation. You can see this tissue is mostly clean. Like there's the tiniest little bit of red. So this is not a long-lasting lipstick. It is not food proof, it is not drink proof. As soon as you eat something, it's going to come off. As soon as you drink something, it's going to be left over on the glass. If you kiss someone, it's going to transfer immediately. So it's pretty much one of those lipsticks that you have to be really mindful of. When you've got it on, make sure you just don't do anything, or if you do speak, eat, drink, whatever, then, you know, make sure you touch up. I'm not a big fan of lipsticks that you have to babysit, and this is one of them. You have to be very careful with it. You put it on, you have to touch up throughout the day. You have to be very careful if you're doing anything like eating, drinking, it might smear. It didn't actually have enough time to bleed, which is the good news. Slightly good news. I mean, I knew it would be one of those very balmy lipsticks, but this is really, really balmy. Like, it's to the point where it doesn't really stay on very well. And that's such a shame because you would think that it would have that stain power, but it doesn't. It doesn't even really stain the lips, I don't think. I think you can get better lipsticks that do have that very glossy effect that do last longer. MAC do really great ones. Even the drugstore, they do some good ones where they have that gloss, but they won't immediately just transfer. With this, it almost felt like it immediately came off. I would like to actually try it as more of a stain, so I'm going to try and pat this on. Last time I was swiping, but this time I want to just pat it on just to see if it's wearable as more like a sheer colour, because if you can apply it as a sheer colour, then as it wears off, it's not going to be as noticeable. If you just swipe it on really heavily like I did, as soon as you start eating, drinking, maybe going about your day, it's going to be very noticeable because I noticed earlier it was starting to rub off in the middle, and then I was left with almost just a line. Like I had lined my lips in red and then stopped. So it's going to basically retreat towards the vermilion border, which is that like line between your lip and the skin, until there's nothing there. So let's just have a little quick try of this. I'm going to come in quite close so you can see, and then I've got the mirror just here, and just gently patting the colour on. So just slightly patting this onto the lips. Going in with the finger just to make sure it's all even and there's no patchiness, because there is a risk. So this does look quite pretty. I think it's a far more wearable like this, where the colour is just gently patted on, and if you want for an extra intrigue or dramatic effect, you can apply a little bit more in the middle of the lip. I love doing this. You just go in to the centre, push your lips together, and then just in the middle, in the centre of the lip. I think you might have seen this. There are so many people who have done tutorials on this, where you basically just put a little bit more colour in the middle of your lip, and that just gives you an extra little bit of pout and slightly more colour payoff. Again, I'm just going to blend with my finger. I quite like that, yeah. I think that's really nice. So definitely I would recommend wearing it a little bit more diffused, like you see me here, where the colour is not as intense. And I think with this, as it wears off, again, it will wear in the centre of the lip more, and then it will sort of start going out. I like that a lot more. I think the colour is very beautiful. I think it's such a pigmented balm for a lip balm or hydrating lipstick. This has a lot of colour. Like if you're looking for a very hydrating balm with a lot of colour, this is it. However, talking about hydration, the packaging does promise 24 hours of hydration. Am I going to get that with this? Absolutely not. Once it's come off, I can't feel the hydration anymore. If you really wanted to properly hydrate your lips with this, then you could wear it to bed. However, I wouldn't recommend it because it would smear all over your face and your pillowcase, and this isn't a lip treatment. This is just a very hydrating, balmy lipstick. While it's on, it does feel very comfortable. There are some lipsticks where you can feel it, it's sitting on top of your skin, or it's drying on your lips, or you can feel it flaking. This doesn't happen with this. However, the big question is it worth the money? And I'm going to say no, because it's going to come off your lips very quickly. It's not going to give you 24 hours of hydration, because once it's off, it's off. It's very beautiful. It is. It's a luxurious experience to have it, to own it, to hold it, to use it. But does that justify the price for me? No, because nice packaging doesn't justify a cost. I think it's the product in itself that you have to look at. I think you can get better lipsticks that are proper lipsticks. I'm not talking about lip balms, I'm talking about real lipsticks that do have that shining gloss. If you go to MAC, you could probably get 2 for the price of this one lipstick, which just tells you how much not worth it this is. I mean, if you really want to treat yourself, or if you want to treat someone very special in your life who you know loves makeup and would really love this, then by all means go ahead. However, if you are thinking, oh, I'll splurge on this because it's really something very special, I'm going to say hold off on it, because there are so many other brands that do such great lipsticks, even on the high street, Rimmel, L'Oreal, and they all have very similar formulas to this one. And I would say that they even last longer. So if you're looking for something a little bit more special, I would probably go to somewhere like MAC. Or if you're looking for just something balmy, glossy, very light, I would also go to the high street, because you can get really good value for money and high quality products there with probably the same formulation. If you have the money to spend, then by all means go for it. You'll love it. And if you want to buy someone a special gift, this is lovely for Christmas or a birthday. But is it worth the splurge? I don't think so. I wouldn't recommend it. I don't think that I think I can live without this, basically. I mean, I'm going to love it. I'm going to use it. However, am I going to repurchase? Probably not. I'm going to say not, just because it's not worth it for me personally. However, I did enjoy the experience and the review, and if you found it helpful, then please subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.